This is the Artemis project, and in this we are corporations setting up colonies on the surface of Europa. We're excavating down below the icy crust to get the energy and the minerals down below the crust, bringing the minerals up to build buildings, bringing in colonists to put to work in the buildings, sending them on expeditions, and at the end of 6 years, 6 turns in the game, we see who has the best colony. It's a dice placement game, so everybody would roll all their dice, and then one die at a time we go around the table, you place them to the different areas. And once everyone's placed all their dice, we're going to resolve the areas in order, go around, and we'll see what people get. The main kind of mechanic of the game is this dice displacement. Basically, if you went in here with a 3, you would be hoping to take 3 of that energy. If I come in there with a 5, I'm hoping to take up to 5. But what happens is lower dice get placed below it, and at the end of the round when we go to resolve it, we resolve from left to right, lowest to highest. So in this case, at the end of the round, green would get 2, yellow would get 3, and 5 would only get 2 of what they wanted, right? The minerals work the same way. And same thing with the colonists as well. We go from lowest to highest, and if you have a 1, you can take up to 1 guy of your choice. 3 or 4 can take up to 2, and a 5 or 6 take up to 3, but you have to pay energy for them. So you're trying to get the energy to bring in the colonists, the minerals to build the buildings. When you build the buildings, the way they work is basically you put down the die. That's how many minerals you're going to spend to build that building. And if you get it, you get to add it to your colony down here. And hopefully, you can see certain buildings require certain colonists. We have 10 explorers, we have engineers, we have red military, and purple stewards, like the administrators. So this base would have to take a purple steward, but you can put anybody else in there. And then at the end of the round, if this building's fully manned, you can turn energy into minerals or minerals to energy up to 3 times, back and forth. All of these buildings are going to give you some kind of benefit at the end of the turn. And at the end of the game, the buildings from rounds 4, 5, and 6 are going to give you victory points at the end of the game just once. So they would come in there, and again, you would try to man them with the proper people. This one here would take 3 pioneers, and at the end of the game, it's going to give you 1 victory point plus 1 point for every 2 pioneers you have in your whole colony. The other cool thing about it is you can send them off on expeditions. For example, race to the plateau. On this card you can see there's a threshold. So basically you have to, either by yourself or with somebody else, you have to meet that threshold at the end of the round for it to be successful. Whoever plays the highest amount is going to take their first choice of these 2 rewards. In this case it's a building and 1 victory point. In this case it's 2 victory points or 2 expedition tokens. Expedition tokens, whenever an expedition is successful, both players are going to get a token. At the end of the game, they're worth points based on how many you get. If, for example, they had done this, and then they came in with another dice, they would now have the higher amount, and they would get first choice here. They might take the building, add it to their colony, and then start to put their people to work in the building and generate more tools. Tools are useful in that when you place your die, let's say for example, normally this 3 would come in after because it came later. I can use a tool to change it down to 2 and slide it in between before that 3. So now green will get 2, I'll get 2, and that way I don't get cut out of not having anything. So at the end of 6 rounds, you total up all the points based on the end of round buildings that give you victory points. The total number of buildings you built, whether they're manned or not, are going to give you some points. For each set of colonists that you have, you're like a nice well-rounded society here, you're going to get 3 points. Every additional group of 3 that don't make it set up is going to give you 1 point.
Now, do they man these buildings throughout the whole game?
Throughout the whole game.
So once they're placed there, they stay there?
You can move them around, so as you get on later on, you say, I really need this guy up here because I need my 3rd guy there. At the end of every round, you get to move 1 guy, and there are buildings which let you move more of them, and events which let you move more, but it's pretty hard to get them to transition through the game. So you're always looking to try to how to get them in a position for the end of the game to get the most points. Whoever has their victory points for expedition tokens as well, and at the end of the game also whoever has the most tools gets 2 points. So basically you're trying to do a little bit of everything. Get buildings, get a selection of colonists, put them to work, generate points, go on expeditions, all for the glory of Earth. corporation.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.